Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Valentine's Weekend edition for G's 101 and the Obesity Warriors community. And as promised, like I said, I was going to have the one and only Miss Bossy Babe herself, my wife Tyesha, on. So here she is. Welcome her in. A few housekeeping things before we get started. Tonight we're going to pretty much, talk about all things GLP-1, but we'll talk a little bit about us since this is her first time on. We'll introduce her and then we'll go through some things that we set up. So we're going to get started in about 60 seconds. So just come on in and get comfortable. Appreciate y'all.
What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. I hope all is well. I'm glad to be here.
So we're going to get started in about 15 seconds, just giving people a chance to come in the room, and then we're going to start rolling. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Appreciate you. So I'll be in the chat over on the MacBook. This is all about her. So yes, right? Ain't that background nice? It was designed all by her, Felicia. She did this, so it looks nice, right? So she's going to pretty much be, like I said, talking about her journey tonight. I'll be in the chat with you guys, and we're going to just try to, have a nice, fun event.
I appreciate it.
All right, so let's get started. Thank you for being here. And all those who aren't, they'll obviously catch it on the replay. We do appreciate, those that are. So we're going to get into the journey just by having Tyesha introduce herself, talk a little bit about herself, our family, and a little bit about her background and what brought us here. And then I'll get right into, what I feel like is a good interview on her journey, since so many people have asked, for me to get her on here, and she's here. So you'll get an opportunity once we're done to, jump in the chat and ask any questions that you might have, if there's any, at the end. So without further ado, Miss Bossy Babe, Tyesha herself, here to introduce herself and just tell you a little bit about her.
Hi, everyone, and good evening. Again, I'm so happy to be here to support you guys, to get the support from myself, and also to support my husband. I truly appreciate the love and support that you guys have been giving him and one another. This is a great community. Again, I'm happy to be here. A little bit about me. My name is Tyesha. A lot of people like to call me Ty. We have 3 children that we love dearly. Professionally, I'm a business analyst with one of the top insurance companies. I work hybrid. 2 days a week, I'm pretty much, I work remotely home. 3 days a week, I'm in the office. I love what I do. I love helping people. I've been in the insurance industry, health insurance industry for about 15 years. What's up, Jen? How are you? I pretty much love shopping. I love good shoes, fly shoes and handbags. I love God. I love my family. I love spending time with my girlfriends, just the usual girly stuff. That's what I like to do. I like to spend Greg money, and I also like to spend my money that I work for hard for too, that we work collectively hard for. And I'm just happy to be on the journey with you guys.
So yeah, she actually got the moniker Miss Bossy Babe because we do have another business that I talk about frequently on here, and people not in the YouTube streets but in the real streets recognize her from our events and social media, because she does have a decent social media following, which she can also give that to you guys at her leisure once we're done with this. So if anybody wants to follow her after this, they can feel free to go ahead and keep in touch with a lot that we got going on with Boston Babe and the other business in our chat, because we have a new networking event coming up on the 12th of April on a Sunday, probably a little earlier than this at daylight saving time. So it should be a very good successful event. So we're excited about that. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. All right. So we're gonna start, like I said, talking about her journey because a lot of people asked a lot of questions. So basically, the first question for her is gonna be, when did you start your GLP-1 journey? What med and dose are you utilizing?
So I started around our anniversary, and I remember I was a little worried because we like to go out and have a good time. And I'm like, well, let me start, I guess, after our anniversary, which is our anniversary is September 8th. And I said, we're going to have this good meal, and I don't want to ruin it. It was my first time. I was a little worried, but I went on ahead, and I believe before dinner, I took it. And I started off on Manjaro 2.5. I started that back in September.
Zepbound.
I'm sorry, Zepbound. Getting it mixed
Same
up.
thing,
Sorry,
but
guys.
yeah, Zepbound.
I'm on Zepbound. Sorry about that. But yes, I started that back in September on 2.5.
And what's your current dose?
My current dose is 7.5, and next week I'll be officially on, like you guys like to call, the Mac 10.
Yep, Mac 10.
I'll be listening. I'll be paying
10.
attention.
Mac 10, yeah. So why did you decide to utilize a GLP-1? Did you have any other health markers?
So the only thing I've had, I just turned 41, so only health problem issues I've had, I'm asthmatic. Thank God, no hypertension and no diabetes, but I am asthmatic, and it can get pretty bad at times.
Yeah, so I mean, my suggestion to her was to get on the GLP-1. I kind of was also an influence because I had several issues, as you guys know, and she saw how well it was doing for me, so that kind of helped to influence her decision because like me, she had some high cholesterol, and that was probably the driving factor between her and the doctor as to what would actually why it would be a good idea, and here we are today. So what was your...
Oh, well, let me add, I'm sorry. I was borderline cholesterol, so let me add that too. That I'm high in, I forgot about that. I was borderline.
And pre-diabetic.
And pre-diabetic, I was
Yes.
that too, borderline. And I just thought with, his support, that when he started, I thought it would be a good idea to join him, to get me on track because I've always tried on my own, the keto, the working out on my own, but it was nothing I felt that was 100% efficient to help me.
All right. So what was your height's obviously the same, but what was your height and weight as a younger person?
Well, like I like to say myself, I make a joke and I always say, I call myself Hobbit Town because I am 5 even. So that's just a joke that I always say. And the smallest way I can recall as an adult, I would say is about 152. That was around the time we got married, I believe. And I was 23. So I was 153. I remember trying on my wedding dress, and I was 153 at that time.
Yeah. So in your, what did you say your height already? Or did I miss it?
5 even, which I like to call it Hobbit Town. But good things come in small packages. That's okay. But at times, I'm really 5'6", 5'5", because I like to wear a lot of cute heels at times. But
so when do you believe you started gaining weight?
When would I would definitely say around the pandemic. Just a funny little story. We all was just worrying about getting through the pandemic, and we didn't know, we was uncertain. So I went to try on a pair of jeans, and they wouldn't come up past my knees. And I said, how much weight did I gain? So I weighed myself, and I gained 30 pounds. And at that time, we were just worried about, living and being safe and cautious, where weight at that time really wasn't a factor. We were just worried about getting through the pandemic. And I had weighed myself, and I said, oh my goodness, I gained 30 pounds. And at that point, that took me up to my highest weight. And again, I'm short. So I think I got up to 206. And when I saw that over 200 pounds, I said, oh no. So at that point, for about 2 weeks, I kind of went on a cut everything to get out of the 200s. When I saw that 206, I said, oh no. So that was my highest I got up to was 206 during that time. And then, of course, having children. You don't like to always, as women, you don't always want to put all the responsibility and say, okay, I have children, it's them. But we have to be realistic. It's part you, but also when you have children, it does play a part. I have 3 children. I breastfed, I carried them 9 months, so that was a lot too. But, that's pretty much.
So what is your ultimate goal weight?
So my ultimate goal weight, the first goal I set for myself was 160, and I'm 5 pounds away from that now. I'm 165 now. That was my first goal is 160. My second goal is 145, 150 range. And ultimately, if I can get down to, and I'm not going to say can, I will, by my hard work and by God, I would say 135, 140.
So she actually answered the next question, so I won't. What's your short-term goal weight? So I'll just move on. So what are you doing to be successful on your journey?
So what am I doing now? I would lie, you guys know, to say that you don't necessarily have to exercise, meaning you can lose the weight without exercise, but you need to exercise, for your heart and just in general, to contour your body and things like that. So I would say 3 to 4 times a week I work out. Home. Sometimes I throw dinner on the stove when I get off. As soon as I walk through the door from work, I throw dinner on the stove and I might walk my treadmill for roughly about 20 minutes at least. And then 2 to 3 times a week I do that. And then the other day I pretty much throw on a YouTube video and I do my weightlifting and things like that. So at least 3 times a week I dedicate to at least 20, 30 minutes of working out. And I also walk. The 3 days a week, I'm in the office. I actually park my car at the train station, and there and back from my office is a mile. So I also do that as well. What's up, Paul?
So have you had any side effects?
Okay, so the only side effects I really had, and I have to be honest, I always was a sleepy person. I get off work, talk to Greg and the kids about their day, cook dinner, do the regular household, wife duties, and I'm asleep. And honestly, I call myself an old lady because sometimes I can be asleep through the night, 8:30, honestly. So I do get a little sleepy. I've been a little extra tired, I'll say, on some days, and also the constipation. But I'm kind of getting a regimen where I am on the medications that Greg suggests that you guys take, the usual Miralax, the Magnum 7, things like that. I'm kind of getting a routine because, being a career woman and a wife and running around, sometimes I forget, and then I realize I need to take something right away, But that's pretty much the only main side effects that I've had so far.
So we're going to talk about titration, but she did explain already that starting next week, she will be moving to the 10, where I think she'll probably, keep, stay, even in maintenance because she's doing so well already. So we won't go there. But, and we did go over the current weight. So over the last 23 weeks, how did you titrate? Like what dose did you start at, and then how did you move through them?
So don't kill me, guys, because I don't have it all together. But if I can recall, obviously I started on 2.5 and I stayed on that for 1 month, I'm pretty certain. Then at that point I moved up my second month to dose 5 and I stayed on that for a month, I believe. So month 2, and then month 3 I moved up to 7.5, and I've been on that since. And I'm about to titrate up next week when I finish. I did my last shot of 7.5 this week. So now I'm going to titrate up to 10. So that's pretty much been the journey so far.
So week 24, which is her 6th month, is when she'll start with the 10 milligram. So she spent the longest time so far on 7.5, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
So do you suggest other women or men utilize the GLP-1 for weight loss?
I actually do. I'm like the advocate around my office now. For telling people, and it's crazy, but I'm starting to notice, other people weight and that I didn't notice before. I don't know what it is mentally going on, but I, say it in a nice way, we're getting older. We need to try to get our health in line. You don't want a negative health report. And I actually have 2 teammates in my office there. They signed up and they're about to start their GLP. Just from conversations. So that's pretty much, yes, I do. Men and women. I feel it's a good drug to help you stay on track with health problems, weight loss. Yes, I definitely do.
So have you ran into any people that sort of kind of push back on you using it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You have a lot of people, and I feel in general, if we're going to be real in this conversation, that let's be real. If you are overweight and you have everything else together, none of us are perfect, but I'm saying if you're, already attractive as a female, already handsome as a guy, you're educated, you're well-spoken, you're likable, you're personable, It's that one thing. You're a little overweight, but if you're able to correct it, it seems to be a lot of envy going on. Like, why are you on GLP? You're cheating. No, it doesn't matter. I feel if you, however you do it, it's not like we're doing something illegal. Like, why is it a big deal if you want to do something to get your health in line? Why is it bothersome to the next person if you want to use GLP, if you want to get to sleep, if you want to sit on the table, go on the table and go on a knife to get the, fat sucked out of you? Why does it matter? That's just my theory on it. So.
So have other people, obviously outside of the household, start to notice your weight at this point?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people in my office, there's like, how much weight did you lose, Tyesha? Come back by. You lost a lot of weight. And I think as of today, I lost a total of...
Well, we're going to go back to
Oh, sorry. Skipping the gun.
She can jump. She get going. So what's your biggest non-scale victory?
Non-scale victory, I would say, this is funny, honestly. I actually told Greg this last week. I'm able to, not saying I was really, really big, but I'm able to wrap a towel completely around myself when I get out of the shower. Like the towel, I don't have to have half of my body hanging out of the towel. Like it goes all the way around. That's one. That's one. And I went down like his favorite line when we going out, throw on a slip-on, a pullover dress. It's a dress with no buttons. And I really went down two sizes. So that's really a non-scale victory, just seeing those inches and, those sizes.
Yeah. So what would you tell other young women that are on the fence about utilizing this GLP-1?
Young women, I would say this, working in the healthcare and medical field, if you are a young woman, you need to get on this drug immediately, simply because what's saving you right now, honestly, and again, I'm not a medical profession, but I do know this, is your age. That's what's saving you right now with your health problems and your lifespan is your age. You know what I mean? Once you get older, things get real. That's what I would say. Your age is what's saving you right now.
So what's one important thought you'd like to leave the people with tonight?
Leave the people, stay consistent in everything you do. Only keep your head down if you're praying, and just keep moving forward. And don't give up.
So I'm going to actually go back to, I know there's some questions in the chat, so we'll get to the questions in a minute. But her actual weight, because that's what people were talking about. So what weight did you start at? Like
when I started, I was 197.50.
Okay, and what's your weight today?
My weight today is 165.50.
So that's over 30 pounds in 23 weeks, right? In 23 weeks. So I think that's, if my math is right, about 15%. So that is literally, what it is that the drug promises or treatment promises to do if you are using semaglutide compound or tirzepatide, or Wegovy throughout 68 weeks, I believe. And tirzepatide, 20%. So at her being on week 24, titrating to the 10, I could see a lot of success in the future. So, hey, beautiful, I'm Color. Glad you could join us. So I'm going to go in the chat and then see if we can. And that was for Paul because Paul actually missed that part, the first part. So I'm going to jump into the chat and I'm going to start answering a few questions. But before I do that, since this is a couple's Valentine's weekend edition, I'm actually going to just talk about that real quick before I actually jump into the questions, because I know we kind of like sped through, quite a bit. She's very good at answering the questions, so she answered a lot of the two-part questions that I had in one, okay? And talking about her titration. So her and I, we've been together for over 26 years. We've been married for 18, soon to be 19 years in September. So this was our 27th Valentine, because we actually began, being friends as teenagers and got married early on, in our early 20s. So we've been together for, literally married for literally 18 going on 19 years and together for over 20. So this was our 27th Valentine. And I think that's simply amazing for two people that are in their 40s to have that type of longevity. So I felt like it was important to jump on here and do this because certain people have been asking me. Twan had said this a long time ago to get her on the channel. And that's why I wanted to bring, her here tonight. We collectively, with her weight loss, with my weight loss, have lost nearly 130 pounds because I'm down 94 pounds as of today. I was 225, which was my lowest weight yet. With her being at 165, we headed to 130 pounds. And just slightly over a year for me, I'm on week 58. And like I said, she's going into week 24. I am September 8th. Is 9/8/7. That's our anniversary. 9/8/7. So September 8th, 2007. So we had a good time yesterday. We actually went out. We went to a new restaurant. So that was pretty decent. I did do a short. I showed the kids down here. Hey, Darian. I did do a short. I showed the kids getting their stuff yesterday. Just unpacking their stuff, the stuff that we shared, and it was a really good day. So I think, she feels the same way about yesterday.
Yes, we had a good time with no kids, no work. So that's always good.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to shoot back in the chat and just see what y'all have been asking. See if we can just make sure I got cues on the questions, just so I can, delineate and find them really quickly, and we can get right to them, okay? Trying to get this MacBook in order. It don't want to scroll for me.
Okay, old man.
It don't want to scroll for me. So one question from Jen says, "Are you a lifer?" I don't know if she knew that yet.
Well,
are you a lifer?
Let me say this.
At just 23 weeks in.
Let me say this. It depends.
I'm a lifer, but
It depends. I just hear so many horror stories. I do. I really hear some horror stories. Like I have a good friend of mine that she was a little bit heavier than me, but we were the same height. She's maybe about 220. That was her highest, and she got on GLP, and she's back now. She was off of it barely a year, and honestly, she looked a little bit heavier than where she started. So I don't want that. I don't know. I mean, I try my hardest, even on, as I'm, noticing, I guess you guys like to call it the day before the shot day. I'm hungry, but I'm able lately to kind of sort of like, I don't want the cheesesteak. I'm just eat the salad or eat this piece of fish, or just not do it. But I'm more of a sweet girl. You have some that more savory, but I love sweets. I love the carrot cake. I love cheesecake. I love it. But I'm able to not eat it some days. I say, you know what, no. On the day when the shot wears off, the day before, usually a day or two before. Yes, we do work out. We weren't working out together, but as you know, Greg with his surgery, I actually did start chair workouts with him. So we can, we were working out together. And when the weather get good, we want to start walking. We have a local mall near us, and roughly from the home is about a mile. So we walk there and from our home to the mall and back, and that's about a mile and a half. So probably about April, the weather here is really, really cold. We'll start walking again together. But I try to be light with him with the workouts because I don't want him to have other injuries.
Yeah, our workouts going to vary, pretty much. Like, so we work out together sometime, but we're separate type of workout people. I mean, we do the walking together, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
As far as like resistance training, we're different. So she would work out pretty much independently. But she does her thing because she likes different type of video format than I do. So we don't really, and then we have the osteoarthritis in my foot and ankle and all that. I have to do it differently, and I have certain times where I can do stuff and where I can't. So how did you survive G's being home? So Darren says, how did you survive me being home during the recovery for 300 weeks?
Well, that's funny you ask. So again, my job has a lot of flexibility. So usually, again, I'm home I'm home 2 days a week and 3 days I'm in the office. So what I did was the first week of his surgery, I took PTO. Second week 2 and week 3, I worked at home. So it was fine. I mean, he was waiting on hand and foot, but he's waiting on hand and foot even without surgery. So it was fine. It was a good time with him, you know. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, and then Felicia, let me go in here to see if I can find your question because I don't see it over here. So I'm gonna go in the other chat so I can see if I can find your question because it wasn't popping up over here for me, and I don't want to miss nothing. So I'll go back. We don't want to miss no questions. Yep, I'm a fan of Hobbits. I'm a fan of Hobbits, JC. So 7.5, Paul said that was his jam, thinking of going back during maintenance. Felicia said, why did you personally choose Zepbound versus Wegovy? Well, I think I got to answer that because basically I was a champion for Zepbound because it was, Wegovy is, to me, an inferior, drug. So why get on something that could possibly cause more side effects? So, I suggested Zepbound, and that's the route we went because, I personally was actually taking it myself. So I just went back.
September they asked.
Yeah, that was the date, our anniversary, 9/8/07. I just wanted to catch up with the questions over here because we got a little bit behind. Oh, September 21st. Okay, that's what's up, Paul. So y'all right behind. Right behind. Yeah, so I think we did get to the previous questions.
Okay.
Yep, I love sweets, surviving. Yep. Yeah, so we actually caught up. We're not that behind. I thought I was like behind with the questions because I wasn't able to get through the chat, over here. But yes. So
no. Okay, so grocery shopping. We have children. They eat like savages. That hasn't changed.
Yeah. What was the question I answered?
About shopping budget, and I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
When they're out of school, they eat like we don't feed them. They still want a snack every day to take to school. Really hasn't changed much.
Traveling T. I mean, and I'm a proponent of the steaks. Come on, you watch the channel, right? You know what I mean? We don't. There's no getting around spending money on food. We grass fed ribeye. You know what I mean? So it's food is going to definitely be something that's still at a premium in the cost because we do eat very good protein. So with the good protein, you got it. Yeah, with the salmon, the fish, the chicken is inexpensive, but like I said, everything's expensive. I won't say inexpensive, but it's much less than ribeye. And even when we out, primarily, our primary, protein of choice is usually ribeye, lamb. She's like the lamb person, or either like king crab. So yeah, so I would say we eat less, but we definitely eat expensive, meats and stuff like that. I personally feel like we were never people to eat a lot. You know what I mean? We never really had like glutton type tendencies, but it was just the wrong type of food. Yeah, we never really ate a lot of stuff. It's just the wrong type of foods, And then obviously, the treatments do so much more, with inflammation and all of that. We just saw the benefit regardless. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we at with that. So, but yeah, groceries, kind of are what they are. At one point, I was doing like the shakes, like the protein in the canister that I actually make myself and shake it up. Now I do ready-made. In general, I was doing the muscle milk, but I switched over to the more I forget the name of it, but the ones that a lot of us drink. It's escaping me right now, but they have less protein. It's still 30 grams of protein. The ones I had 40. But it had a lot of vitamin B, and with me taking Men's Pro Edge, the vitamins that I talk about, they actually are, it's actually probably a little bit too much, so. Did you have any inflammation issues?
No, I didn't have any.
Yeah. So so she's seeing the benefit, and like I said, I think that personally, just watching her journey, she watched mine first, obviously. Fair Life. I think it's Fair Life, or I think is it Fair Life or is it Premier? The ones the little
I don't remember because you switched.
yeah, I did switch because I was doing Muscle Milk. I can't think of it. It's the ones that are in the little they got like the purple wrapping around. Whichever one that is. Like it's not Fair Life. I think it's the other one. Premier. I think it's Premier. Premier, Darian. I think that's the ones. So yeah. It's Premier. It's Premier, Tamika. Yeah, thanks. Yep. So, but yeah, so we doing really well. I actually have my, like I said, colonoscopy set for the beginning of March, along with the heart ultrasound. She has her mammogram set, so she's going back for that. She does that annually now. And she also has her annual physical, so that should be interesting because with the doctor being able to see her after her losing over 30 pounds now. So I think that's going to be pretty exciting. But we stand on top of the stuff. So that's where we at. Like I said, if y'all got any questions while we're here, feel free to put them in the chat. While we're here. Yes, women's health for sure.
Yep. So I go Monday for my physical, my wellness exam, and Tuesday for my mammogram, my second mammogram. So mammograms, for you ladies that are not aware, they're due year to date, annually. So make sure you get those mammograms done. Same thing with the GYN. A lot of women sometimes don't go. We're supposed to go, get examined, and your wellness exams are also done year to date as well. So make sure that you guys are up to date with all of those appointments.
Yes. Yeah, so like I did, shoot around the community today, and I seen some decent wins out there. I watched your tape, Tamika. So you're live. So I don't know, it might have been live, the live that I missed or a replay. So good luck with your colonoscopy. Did you track the food? Not sure if you talk about it. No, we don't track. We kind of like when it comes to that, it's kind of like two peas in a pod, right? So anything that we're not gonna do forever, we don't do now. Right? Because this is a lifestyle thing. And for us, tracking is annoying, right? Because we did that before to lose weight because we've been on so many different weight loss things. And we had one that was 40-day reset where we was literally like weighing our meat. We was doing everything. And that stuff drives you crazy. So what we typically do is eat what we know. Like we eat the same exact things. Like it's on schedule. So we know how much it is. So we really don't have a need to really track. Like I said, I do drink the protein just simply because I do intermittent fasting. She's not much of an intermittent faster, but she don't really worry too much about protein because of the meat. And she's more of a breakfast eater than I am. Like she'll eat bacon and things like that I don't eat. So I'll have the need for more of the protein than she do because she'll get more. But she's definitely a lamb eater, steak eater, bacon eater, all that kind of stuff. So her protein is good to go. But yeah, no tracking because that's just too yeah, it is annoying, right? We ain't doing that because most of the prominent doctors say if it's not something that you're willing to do forever, you probably shouldn't because it's not going to work, right? So, and then I feel like, that's the word for real. Tracking is annoying to me and I struggle with it. Yeah, it is. Like, we just don't do it. Like, and I mean, we both lost weight. I lost almost 100 pounds and she down over 30. So I think it's working. And not to mention inches, you know what I mean? Because, she's down several sizes, you know what I mean? Like what was your starting size? What were you wearing before?
Comfortably, I was a 16. I could possibly fit a 14, but comfortably, I definitely was a 16.
And today what?
Today I am 12.
But what about shirts?
Shirts, I went from an extra large. All my blouses for work are mediums. They are like draping.
But that's an 8, right?
Yeah, it's equivalent to an 8.
That's an 8. Yes. She wears an 8, in tops.
Yeah.
So I mean that's huge. Like, you know what I mean? To go from 16 comfortably, 14, 16 to an 8, 10, that's where she at right now. And again, this is only 23 weeks in.
Thank you.
This 23 weeks in. So just imagine, like, you know what I mean? Where we at on week 50?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where we at on week 50? So yeah, so with her wearing those like I said, because she actually bought a few shirts because she orders online like how I used to. Now y'all know I'm super happy about going to the store, so you can't keep me out of the store because I can go in the store and buy a shirt off the rack now. So I ain't ordering nothing. I'm going to the store and I'm picking it up and taking it the same day. But she's online, so she had a lot of trial and error where she's buying things, sending it back, buying things and just like, moving on.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that came from. But she definitely is a 8'10" now, all the way from a 14, 16.
Yeah.
So, and that's just, like I said, with 30 pounds. So what this is to me, it tells us to let's look at more than the scale. The scale is just one tool, right? She just lost 30 pounds, but look how many inches that is. The one mistake we made, we didn't track her inches, but this tells me that she lost a lot of inches if you can go from a 14, 16 to an 8'10". That's huge. That's huge. So I think that's a big deal. So, hey, Sha, good to see you tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, your shoe size
change. Yeah, it's crazy.
People's shoe size do change because your feet get a little thin. I had a pair of shoes on today that
Flopping
I could fit,
off.
but they're a little floppy too. And now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So yeah, for those of you just coming in, feel free to put questions in the chat while we're here. We're not gonna hold y'all guys too long, but we got a few more minutes, so we just want to answer any questions since this is a rare opportunity for anybody to have any questions. But you know, that's not to say she'll be a stranger. She'll be back. but for right now, this is the first time, and you know, I think that is a lot of people wanted to ask questions because they see our pictures. And shout out to y'all who like the post because I put the pictures in my community page, and a lot of y'all guys go there and y'all like and y'all comment. So I do appreciate that. You know, the subscribers is ticking up. So I also appreciate that. You know, so you know, we do want to, you know, bring the people what they ask for, and y'all asked for her, and she's here. So like I said, just ask, put the cues in the chat, ask the questions, ask away. And just to recap for some of y'all, yeah, Sha. And for y'all that just she would be starting a channel. I love to see it. Nah, she not.
I'm just here to support him.
She not a channel, but she not.
My hands are so tired.
Yeah,
I do so much, guys.
She ain't doing no channel, Sha. It ain't gonna happen.
I'll pop up more, but
yeah, she ain't doing no channel.
I tried.
Not that. Now, let me be clear. I want to be very clear. So socially, she does a lot. So anybody that wants to follow her, we'll make sure that you get her social media because she does a lot of stuff and she is active. So if you go to her Facebook or Instagram, she does go live. But it's about the other businesses and what she involved in, like Bosses and Babes Networking. She do a lot of women's events. She got events from here through the summer, every weekend already lined up. So she's not a person that's not on social media. It's just that the YouTube GLP-1 community is not necessarily her thing.
Yeah, I'm just here to support him for this.
So, but as far as social media and her being active and communicating, yeah, y'all can communicate all day, and she's there. You know what I mean? So y'all can head over to her. You can give me your Instagram. You know, what's your Instagram name thing?
I'm medium old, so I have to look at my page. I don't remember the exact me. Let me just verify and make sure. So Instagram is Miss MRS _ Bossy Babe 40. Oh.
She's gonna type it in the chat for y'all. Her Instagram. So that way, if y'all want to follow her on Instagram, y'all can follow her there. Where y'all can, cause she'll still, you know, talk about journey and put pictures and all that kind of stuff. But it'll be there, not YouTube. YouTube is kind of a me thing, you know. But again, I'll feature her here from time to time throughout her journey because she'll be more interested now than me because of how far I am in my journey. When it comes to weight loss, you know, and tracking, I think, you know what I mean, because I'm, you know, kind of far in. I'm just working on body fat percentage, you know, and you know, recon. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So she just typed it in the chat. So anybody that want to shoot over to, you know, follow her. And if there anybody with businesses out there, I know Sha, I know you have a business, you know, with the insurance. She's also insurance by way of an analyst. She's an analyst, you know, for a large company. So, you know, feel free to jump over there and then follow her, you know, on there, and then she can, you know, actually, you know, kind of direct you to the group, you know, the group chat, where we also have a group chat, which is Bosses and Babe networking vendor events. We actually don't, like, I know you guys are like all over the country. So our stuff is pretty much in suburban Philadelphia. So I know, you know, it'll be a stretch probably, but at least I like to keep people in the know. And again, business, you know, travels. So you know, even if you're not able to make an event, there's a lot of connections that you still might be able to make just being in those groups because we see it all the time. So like I said, just to recap, when we came on, we talked about her journey, where she is, and you know, she's doing good. She actually is on starting week 24. She's moving to the 10 milligram of Zepbound. She actually started at 197, and today she is down to. Appreciate that, Darren. Good looking out. Good looking out. And right now, you know, she is down to 165, I think. Yeah. So, and like I said, the weight. While that's just over 30 pounds, she's lost a lot of inches and came down almost 4 sizes. So, well, from 16 to an 8'10" in the shirt.
Yeah,
So that's what I mean when I
that's
say 4 sizes, because her shirts are a lot smaller than the total. Has she had any symptoms while on G? Yeah, she can talk about that a little bit.
I'm always, like I said, I'm always sleepy and tired. But I say I'm sometimes a little extra.
She was sleepy and tired before this started, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Like it ain't.
After working,
she been going to sleep. She going to sleep at 8 o'clock.
Working out.
Okay, before any zap down, before any of that, she been going to sleep at 8 o'clock for I don't know how long. It's summertime and the sun out, and she already sleep. So this ain't the sleepiness is not fatigue.
Whatever.
She's just a sleeper.
It is.
So,
it is.
No,
Don't listen to him. Whatever. Don't listen to him. But yes, I'm a sleepyhead. After I work, cook.
Yeah.
Got me in barefoot.
So she sleep anyway. Never.
Yes.
but yeah, I think so too, Tamika. I think 10 would be the sweet spot. You know, like I said, and for those wondering about titration, like I said, she does still have higher cholesterol that she's working on. Yeah. So that is a reason, you know what I mean, for her to actually want to lose more, and she's she's 5 foot tall. So with her being 5 foot, she wants to get to a decent BMI. Yeah, because 165, she looks good, right now. But, it's more about the health marker and just driving that down a bit more, right?
And the constipation too.
And yeah.
The constipation can get real.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get into the regimens that you guys do.
Yeah.
The Mango 7
primarily.
The
and
Miralax when I have to. Yeah. But other than that, everything else has been fine for me.
Yes. Well, Shy, you was a champ. I know you was on 12.5 before they snatched you off. So I already know I know how you coming. You know what I mean? So, but I think the reason I like this for her is because she can stay. It'll be a maintenance for her. Like she can stay on 10. We're gonna see how it goes over this month, but it can be maintenance for her because she won't. I mean, with the weight loss, with the rate of weight loss, her losing 15% in just 20 some odd weeks. And she don't really have to go farther than that.
I get a lot of sleep.
Shy is a beast. Yeah, Shy is a beast. Shy was at 12.5. Out the gate. You know what I mean? So. She different. But
you wasn't playing, were you? 12.5, that's great.
You can't conquer the world if you don't get your sleep. Yeah, she did it. She get it. And that's probably how she losing all them inches, I'm trying to get rid of the spare tire, and hers is just withering away.
That's why you get through all the things, right? I agree.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Agree.
That's what I think. You know what I mean? Like that's a good point, Traveling T. She that cholesterol is just like that nagging thing, you know what I mean? Like thanks, Sha. It's just a nagging thing, you know what I mean? Where she lost 30 pounds and it's still elevated, you know what I mean? So I think for her it's gonna be the activity, like the working out, the physical activity is gonna really help her drive that cholesterol down, because I know that's one of the things. In the wintertime, you're not as active. She does do workouts, but I know for us in the spring, once it hit, we naturally, like soon as we hit the door, before we hit the door, we go walk. So I already know that it's going to pick up, with the better weather and then the regular resistance training. She got the walking pad in the house now. Most of y'all that seen the Christmas video, so I got her that. So, she has the means, so she'll be doing that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do agree. So yeah. Any last questions? Just throw them in the chat real quick, and we won't hold y'all too long tonight. But like I said, I wanted to get this strength training will definitely help with that. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. The strength training, with that cholesterol, you know what I mean? Because that's, like I said, the only marker that's on her work, And I looked at her previous work before she started, before she started on the GLP-1 and the current one, her A1C, glucose, all that actually came down. Actually, what's crazy is, her, and I never had any glucose problem, but her glucose A1C was actually a point better than mine, because mine is 5.2, hers is actually 5.1, and she was pre-diabetic. Yeah. So that's huge. I was never pre-diabetic or even close, but she was pre-diabetic, and now her A1C is 5.1.
Yeah.
So I think that's so it works. It really works. So like I said, just through the working out and things like that, we'll be able to further drive down. But yeah, so like I said, this is not going to be the last time I'm going to have her on here again. Have you needed to change your eyeglasses ring size?
So my ring, it's spinning around when I'm driving, when I'm typing. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but and my eyeglasses, the ones I did have, yes, they was falling off a little too. Yeah.
Y'all see me, I'm always doing like this. I'm
constantly
doing like this.
It's definitely it spins when I'm driving, when I'm cooking, when I'm,
And crazy enough, I went to actually get my ring finger size. And what the guy said was my knuckle is still too big for me to go down. So my ring literally spins completely around, like effortlessly. But he said my knuckle is still the size it was. So with my knuckle being what it is, it don't go past the knuckle. So some of us had that problem, you know what I mean? So, yep. So that's the thing. But yeah, so like I said, just to recap, I think this was a good thing. I finally got her on, Miss Bossy Babe, Tyesha, go follow her, Instagram, you know what I mean, where she's very active at. I thank her for joining us tonight. I think this was a productive live. The likes and the shares are going up. And we just wanted to bring like a special Valentine type atmosphere tonight. I spin around just a little bit so you can see the decorations back there. No, that's not a green screen. That's definitely real. She did that. You know what I mean?
And it's compliments of Dollar Tree, one of my favorite stores.
Yeah.
I went in there and I spent about $15 maybe.
Not counting the cupcakes and all of the food.
Not counting that.
There was food over there too, so you know what I mean?
Just
and the gifts. Obviously, it's gifts over there, but the decor, yes, the decor was very, very, you know what I mean. So yeah, she definitely, put.
I need some stock in Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
one of my stores.
Yeah, definitely. But I figured y'all would appreciate that because I know a lot of people. I love seeing couples on GLP-1. It's so motivating. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm doing it because I feel like growing my channel. If y'all didn't check it out, please go and check out that healthy mentality roundtable that I did with the great panel we had with Darium, with Grant, with Paul, RMZ, you know what I mean? I got guys, jumping on and following. I did a gang of shorts from that. I collaborated on the actual video itself. So if y'all haven't checked it out, go check it out. Have your counterparts. And I'm saying this because there's a lot of women in here. If your counterpart, your male counterpart, is having, issues with their health, tell them to go and give it a watch, follow our channels because we're always, making sure that we actually, bring the good news and the seriousness at the same time to the male counterpart. So if you're struggling with that with your partner, let's get them on. I brought her on, just so you guys can see, you know what I mean? Like couples doing it together is probably the best way to do it because if you all, one band, one sound, you're moving in unison, I think that, the success is going to be tenfold. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So not to hold you guys, like I said, too long. She's down, like I said, 15% of her weight in just 23 weeks, moving to 10 milligram next week, which will be her week 24, 6 months. 30 pounds, a little more than 30 pounds down. I'm down 20 now, almost 30% of my body weight, 94 pounds today, 225 is where I'm at. That's the lowest weight I can remember being, probably since high school, size 36, in pants, extra large in shirt. So these are all things that I probably wore in like 10th grade. So collectively, we're down almost 130 pounds. So therefore, I think that is a win. And this is something that I wanted to show, right? Yes. In the YouTube streets, as we call it. You know what I mean? So, but thank you. Yeah, Tamika, it was, and I'm glad you watched the replay. But we're gonna sign out. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hold her too long, or you guys too long. You get back to your Sunday, and you guys can catch me here next Sunday. Same time as always, 7:30. Well, I'm a little bit more tardy, so you'll probably catch me around 7:30, 8 o'clock. For my regulars. But I thank all of you guys that decide to come in and watch Tyesha's interview. So, like I said, follow her page. It's in the chat. I appreciate you guys, for coming by and checking us out tonight. All right? Yeah, 7:30, color people time. Get on out of here, Darren. Well, I was on time because of her tonight. So, yeah. All right, see y'all later. Thank y'all for tuning in.
See y'all.